on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackowitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is my review for The Dark Knight Rises. So this is the last of my Batman movie reviews, and they finished very, very strong. I talked about how I was not really a fan of the Tim Burton Batmans. They were okay. I do like Michael Keaton. I really like Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer. After that, Schumacher just destroyed Batman. So I really didn't have very high expectations when the Dark Knight Trilogy started. And I talked about how I really didn't even watch the first movie for quite some time after it came out. But then, of course, I saw it. I absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10. Dark Knight, 10 out of 10. So The Dark Knight Rises really had to be something special. And I really believe that it was. I think Christopher Nolan made a great trilogy, had a game plan that he followed through with to almost perfection. There were some things with The Dark Knight Rises that I had a little bit of issue with, but overall it was still a very, very, very well done movie with a lot of backstory that really grabbed you, a lot of great character development. So, of course, directed by Christopher Nolan. Christian Bale comes back as Bruce Wayne Batman. Michael Caine returns as Alfred Pennyworth. Morgan Freeman as Lucia Fox. Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon. You have Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Blake, and there's a secret identity. We find out he's kind of a Robin character. Anne Hathaway comes in as Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Huge shoes to fill with Michelle Pfeiffer. Tom Hardy as Bane. Marion Cotillard as Miranda Tate, who we later find out is Talia al Ghul. That was a great reveal for me. Ben Mendelsohn as John Daggert. Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. Just a little cameo part in there. And Cillian Murphy comes back as Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow. And I really like how this movie really kind of paid homage to Batman Begins in a lot of ways here. So, you have this story of Batman. He's aged. He's not doing very well with his health. And he's trying to get back in the game when he finds out that there is this like mercenary in Gotham who is doing some just absolutely horrendous stuff, that being Bane. They don't really know it's Bane yet, but they soon find out. And Bane, I absolutely love that they picked Tom Hardy for this role, because Tom Hardy, he was jacked to the nines. He's a really good actor, and he absolutely killed this role. His line delivery was excellent. They made Bane actually who he is, which is a very intelligent mercenary, just jacked up as all hell though. And so if you compare this Bane to the Bane we got in like Batman and Robin, there's no comparison. Like, it is two completely different characters, and it is absolutely a treat to see this version of Bane. And not just this version of Bane, but how in-depth they went with Bane and the backstory and him growing up in this pit prison. And, you know, they keep trying to explain that he was part of the League of Shadows who got excommunicated. And so, you know, he's kind of trained very similar to Batman. And he's got, you know, the same education. And so, I really loved that they did that. But then, with all of that build-up, they give you a bit of a swerve, because they keep telling you about how this child escapes this prison, climbing out of this pit. And this whole movie, you think it's Bane, until you find out at the very end that it was actually a little girl, Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, who is here in her father's place after Batman killed her father to finish what he started. And that was, I thought, a very great twist. And Bane turned out to be like the guy who was guarding her as she was trying to escape the pit and fighting off all these other inmates. I thought it was phenomenal. So you have a great story there, wonderful acting. But then you also have great moments in the movie. The first fight between Bruce Wayne and Bane was amazing. Like, they really went all in with this. They even went so far as to put the breaking of Batman in the movie. Now, if you don't know anything about that, it is a comic which I own, that at the end, Bane breaks Batman's back. And so they actually break Batman's back and they put him in this pit. And they're talking about how, you know, he's come from a place of privilege where Bane came from a place of survival. And so they expect that Bruce Wayne is just going to die in this pit. And of course, he's got the will to fix himself, fix his body, and climb out of that pit himself, you know, and kind of rise up. And I thought it was amazing. So while Batman is in this pit trying to recuperate and build himself back up, Bane has pretty much demolished Gotham City. He's closed off all the bridges and all the roads in and out of Gotham. He's got this bomb that's set up that's set to go off in like 5 months. And he tells anybody, if anybody tries to leave, that the bomb goes off anyway. And so he's trying to kill them slowly while giving them hope is how he explained it. And I thought it was very, very intelligent. And so eventually it leads to the final standoff where you have Batman versus Bane. And Bane has his army of criminals. Batman has the police force and all the good people of Gotham. And so there's this huge clash. And eventually Batman breaks Bane's mask, which, you know, is keeping some pain at bay. And that's when you get the reveal of Talia. So I thought it was all very, very cool. At the end of the day, of course, he takes out Bane, he takes out Talia, and then you see him kind of retire. Him and Selina Kyle are seen kind of at the end of the movie together, and Michael Caine's character Alfred is there, and he's like staring at him from across the way. So it was kind of like this dream that Alfred had of Batman moving on with his life. And so this kind of insinuates that he did, in fact, move on with his life. I thought it was absolutely, absolutely great. And the reason I guess I should interject that the reason they wanted to do this like surprise ending where he's with Selina Kyle is because a lot of people thought Batman was dead because he had to carry this bomb away and it blew up and people just assumed that Batman died with it. And so then you get that aftermath scene with him and Selina Kyle in Paris. So very cool, man. I mean, I really didn't have too much of an issue with it. They did kind of toy with Talia al Ghul a little bit. That's fine. I'm not going to complain. Very good. I really love this movie. 10 out of 10. I mean, this was just a great, great trilogy. So after all of this Batman garbage that we got before the Nolan trilogy, we had the definite resurrection of the Batman character in movies. So that's where it's at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.